The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of WBGR Network. Any questions or concerns about what is said should be directed to the show host, whose information will be provided upon request.
My brothers keep a show, I gotta let them know. Tuesday, 7 p.m., gotta let them know. 3 M's, mint and model, gotta multiply. God gets all the glory, hands in the sky. My brothers keep a show, I gotta let them know. Tuesday, 7 p.m., gotta let them know. 3 M's, mint and model, gotta multiply. God gets all the glory, hands in the sky. My brothers keep a show. Introduce the host. My brothers keep a show. Introduce the host, Pastor Dr. Michael Green.
When's the last time someone said thanks for checking over your shoulder before changing lanes? Or gave you a pat on the back for sticking to the speed limit? Or a thumbs up for not tailgating? Probably never. Which is too bad, considering safe drivers make the roads safer for everyone. That's why Allstate appreciates safe drivers like no one else. And they show it by saving you 45% or more, along with giving you safe driving bonus checks, deductible rewards, and extra discounts with the DriveWise app. So the next time you come to a complete stop in an intersection, ask yourself, why haven't I switched to Allstate?
The Brandeo Insurance Group, your local DMV Allstate agent, can help you save 45% or more for driving safely. Call him at 410-424-0844 and get a quote today.
It pays to drive safely. Call a local Allstate agent today and find out how you can save 45% or more. Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
WBGR Network Client Appreciation and Networking Event.
What have you gotten out of this Appreciation Day today?
Well, this has been a wonderful day. I'm really pleased to be able to network and meet so many fabulous people that are on the WBGR network. It's really amazing, all the wonderful talent and all the wonderful programs that WBGR showcases every day. It's been a tremendous blessing to me to be here.
Look at the bright white canvas that's sitting in front of me that's blank, and I get frustrated because I can't think of any images to make. I'm discombobulated, trying to find the right words to get articulated, speech becoming modulated. I guess what I'm trying to state is, I'm tired.
This is the moment where you do the little snaps on there, because this needs all this. I wish I could make my toes snap.
Amazing event, WBGR, and this event is tremendous. We have so much talent.
Good evening and welcome to the greatest show on this side of greatness, ladies and gentlemen. And it is My Brother's Keeper, where greater men continue to make men great with the spirit of excellence. Of course, we know that it is a Tony the Tiger terrific Tuesday, and it is great. And sitting alongside me, co-host Dr. Brian Champion, always a pleasure, always, and a special guest, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mangum, and we're going to give them a proper introduction in just a moment. But first of all, we'd like to welcome our listening audience from Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, Durham, and Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Also, New Jersey, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Virginia is in the house. Pomona, California, as well as Ontario, California, and Imani Christian Cathedral, under the leadership of Bishop Jelani Kafela. We'd like to thank you for your constant support. Also, Bishop James B. Walker of the Christian Methodist Episcopal Church, the 7th Episcopal District. Thank you for your constant support. Definitely appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, sitting in with me tonight, we're going to continue on our blended family discussion. But he is Dwayne Mangum, PhD, author, motivational speaker, and blended family expert. Dr. Dwayne E. Mangum. Welcome, sir.
Man, I am just excited to be here with you gents, man. I am loving what's going on already. I love the blended family. I've been in it for more than 3 decades, man. Wow, man. And so I'm excited about what I've been given in this space. And I'm excited what I've been given to be with you guys because, listen, we're about to change the atmosphere tonight.
Come on, Doc. Come on, Doc.
I believe that.
That is my prayer. Also, just like to let you know, the call-in number is 301-429-9247, 301-429-WBGR. Also, 301-306-7284, 306-7284. Also, remember, you can watch us on Roku as well as downloading the WBGR app on Fire Stick and watch us there as well. And again, like and share. Please like and share, and thank you for tuning in tonight. Well, without further ado, like to just shift it right on over to Dr. Champion. And the are you ready? Are you prepared?
Am I prepared?
Guns blazing. You normally come on.
You always ready?
Yeah.
Come on, with you. I gotta be ready. Oh man, because I know you'll share it and give it to me, so I gotta always be on my P's and Q's and ready, man.
Well, you know what? But actually, you can just simmer down for a moment. I'm gonna give you a proper introduction to come out guns blazing. Okay.
Okay.
All right. First of all, I'd like to thank the St. Matthew Christian Methodist Episcopal Church family for a wonderful pastoral appreciation. My heart was just moved, and I am God thankful for a group of congregants that shared the love and showed their appreciation. And I'm God thankful and grateful. Thank you so much for sharing the love, and it touched the bottom of my heart. Words really cannot adequately express what my heart felt on that day. So thank you so much. I'm still basking in it even today. The love basket with the popcorn, especially. I mean, I'm just thankful for the love that you did share. A special shout out, thank you to the Pastor's Aid, Sister Corrine Davenport, who leads the Pastor's Aid, and along with Reverend Deborah Payton. I tell you, man, they set the atmosphere, man. And then also childhood friends, and you were there.
I was there. Yes, I was there.
Well, I was a child. I say that because I was a child. He wasn't a child, but he was one of my chaperones when we went to New Orleans around 1984. But we evolved into a great friendship through the years as I got older, because my mother said I couldn't have older men as my friend. So I'm very thankful that Dr. Champion had an opportunity to be the liturgist, and it was just a hot time. And Reverend Alfred Harrison ministered the word, powerful word, wow, man, God was really in the house and really blessed. And my best friend Darren, over 30 years. So the whole podium was just filled with lifelong friendships. Me, you, Reverend Harrison, Darren Gray, all of us, man. And that really touched my heart, man. And it's still moving me to this day. And I want to publicly thank you for being a part of that pastoral appreciation. Thank you so much. And Brother Darren Gray, thank you, man. Always, that's my stick, man. My main man. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, like to introduce you to none other, Dr. Brian Champion, with our Black History Fact for the month.
All right, before we get into the Black History Fact, let's just go ahead and go over some other facts around 1984. The interesting thing was that we sat in the back of the church and we prayed before service and everything, and he says, when you get up there today, don't say nothing about 1984. And that was your thing. Now you're gonna come up and bring it up today.
Okay, no, today is a different day.
Okay, so
brand new mercies.
He's gonna sit there and put Darren Gray, Alfred Harrison, yourself, and me on the pulpit together. All of us were on that bus.
I didn't know.
In 1984.
I didn't do it.
And then you gonna tell me, don't say nothing about 1980. Man,
what did Reverend Harrison say? Don't blame the pastor. Blame who?
That's right. But I was ready to tell. I had some confessions and some testifying and everything. I was about to tell it all. But
it was a very a good trip.
No, but it was
youth, and it shows more of the connectional church, about the connectional church, right, and the relationships that were formed,
and how we have been, put in each other's lives. And
absolutely.
And here we are, 1984, and now we're adults and grown. And and I just want to say something that that little story that you tell about me being old and you being young. That was fine when we were on radio. Now that we're on TV, nobody believe that no more, man. Now, does all this look older than that?
Yeah, all of that, right?
Y'all tell me, go ahead, hit like and share.
It's all in love.
But I did enjoy being there on Sunday, and it was a blessing. I know you were surprised and everything, and they didn't tell you who was speaking. So when I walked in the door,
I thought it was
me, and I know that kind of made you a little uncomfortable to think that might have full reign of your pulpit for like 45 minutes.
Well, I know that you can minister a word.
Yeah,
Look, don't get it twisted. I know you can. You can do the thing.
But
now.
I get up there and tell it all.
And that was the reason I was a bit shocked.
Yeah, I remember one time I told the story of the prodigal son, and I put the prodigal son in present day circumstances and how he lived a life, and I shared some stories about the prodigal son. I got home, my mom was like, "See, you talk too much. You ain't supposed to tell all that." So I did appreciate though being there, and Alfred Harrison, Reverend Alfred Harrison, who's been on this show plenty of times, and My Brother's Keeper family are very familiar with him. Gave an awesome word, and I really enjoyed that opportunity. And it was an interesting weekend too, because I left there and went to Presiding Elder Agee's his church's 126th church anniversary at Williams Chapel in Front Royal, Virginia. So I left you all and went to Front Royal, and Bishop James Walker preached, and I had a chance to participate on the program. Reverend Agee, who was here with us last week, and I wasn't here. He was sitting in this seat and looking good and looking sharp,
poised.
Man, I tell you, that guy's looking ready, man. So I was like thinking to myself, how can I adjust my chair just right so I can look like Agee
and allow it to flow, right?
Yeah,
but you do a great job, brother. You do a great, outstanding job.
Thank you. But so we were down there with him, and Agee will be back with us. Reverend Agee will be back with us next week
on the 30th.
Yes. So absolutely, it's been a busy time.
Yes, and we're going to continue. Last week we talked about the blended family, and as we talked about the blended family, we got overwhelming responses. And so, what better way than to keep that whole fire burning? Is because people want to know and they need to be informed. And many people were like, they didn't know that many people dealt with blended family issues and challenges.
And it's interesting because people often think that I'm the only one going through this. And so when you start looking at the numbers, you start realizing that hey, it's it consumes our being and the world that we live in today. So let's accept it and start moving forward for ways to address making it work at its best. But the last thing I wanted to just mention that I participated in, this kind of segue into our Black History Person of Interest, that I went to the Olivers. My pastor, Gordon Oliver.
With the show? Absolutely.
Yes, he and his wife have been on to talk about marriages and their ministry of It Takes Three. We had the Pastor's Appreciation, and we were blessed during that time to have as our speaker Dr. Willie Jolly. And man, he was something awesome. You know, I'm familiar with some of his work and everything, but just to kind of hear that brother put it down and put it into context and keep it real, he left us with a plan for success. And I thought to myself, I was so impressed with this brother that I said, man, you know, like I mentioned before, we can't just keep doing persons of interest who have gone on while we respect them, but there's some living legends in our community, and Dr. Jolly is one of them. So I wanted to just kind of speak a little bit about him today. All right. Willie Jolly, motivational speaker, and he is a best-selling author. I didn't know some of this stuff about him, but raised in Washington, D.C., and went to Roosevelt High School over in Northwest, which was, our rivals when I was in high school. After that, he went to American University, where he studied psychology and sociology, and then went on to Wesley Seminary and got a degree. He got a master's of theology from Wesley, and then he received a doctorate in faith-driven achievement. Man, that sounds deep, doesn't it? Yes, sir. Faith-driven achievement from California Graduate School of Theology. And it was an interesting story of how he came from some very humble beginnings, where he started his early career as a singer. And during the day, he sang jingles for Pizza Hut and Oarsman Chevrolet and different things like that. And at night he did nightclubs, and he was a singer in the nightclubs. And it was at a point in time where he was told that the nightclub didn't need him anymore. He said, man, I'm packing it out. He said, but you cost too much. We can have karaoke and fill the house just as well. And so it was from that he had to step aside and he had to retool and redevelop himself. And from that was birthed, his motivational speaking, his book that some of us are familiar with. It's a setback that is for a setup for a comeback. And he talks about how that setback set him up for the greatness that he achieves in his present day, and how all of us have that opportunity for greatness. But it's about how we respond to the setback. And if we respond in the right way, then we have the opportunity to have major comeback. Ladies and gentlemen, he's starting it up already. No. I'm just sharing some jollyology today. It's not mine. It's not mine. I can't take it from my own. But go ahead. He like I said, he had a book. It only takes a minute to change your life. Yes, sir. It's about taking that minute to make a decision, because you have to decide for yourself to make change. He also co-authored a book with his wife, Dee Jolly. I like the title of this one. Make Love, Make Money, and Make It Last. And the two of them have co-authored that together. But this is what was interesting too. Now, he's in the Hall of Fame of Speakers. He also received an award a few years ago. It's one of the top 5 speakers in the world from Toastmasters. And people in DC area, they can hear him on the radio every morning on WHUR, where he does his meditation minute. He also has shows on iHeartRadio and Sirius XM. And if you're interested in really getting into learning more about public speaking and how to develop that career, he actually runs a speakers boot camp
Okay.
So, he's also investing back in young people. So I just wanted to acknowledge him today. I was truly blessed by meeting him and having the opportunity to sit under him for that afternoon as he blessed us with his speech. But he's an awesome brother, and I just want to recognize him today as our Black History Person of Interest.
Mr. Willie Jolly.
Yes, sir.
And thank you for sharing the jollyology.
The jollyology.
The jollyology.
Yes,
you
sir.
coined that phrase, the jollyology. Greatly appreciated. All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to take off? Okay. Here we have Dr. Mangum, and he is a blended family expert. Dr. Mangum.
Well,
we tag teaming now. We're going to go and give it to you.
Listen, let me tell you something. I'm an expert because I lived it. I breathed it.
Yes, sir.
I sleep it.
Yes.
I wake up with it. And I recognize that blended families need to understand how valuable they are.
Yes.
And sometimes we don't understand how valuable we are because we've been given a raw bill of goods.
Yes, sir.
We don't realize that as a blended family, we were created to do something phenomenal. But when we understand that in the midst of the trouble, in the midst of the disappointments, if we take a moment to understand how valuable we are, you got a bonus mom or a bonus dad, you have to realize that we're coming together as a unit. And I always tell people that when you go into a blended family, you have to crucify the blood theology.
Yes, sir.
Let me break that down.
Okay.
Blended families are not about blood, it's about relationships. But coming into a blended family, the blood from the biological mother or father, sometimes it rises up. And the bonus children, or the stepchildren, if you will, they get left out. And so I often tell people that I counsel with and I talk to, I said the first thing you need to do is recognize that these children did not ask to be in the blended family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now the parents are in love, and they want to do the thing, and the kids become casualties because what we don't realize, gentlemen, is that every blended family starts from a loss of a mother, not just death, but divorce, loss of a father, and we don't deal with the grieving of it. And so what I do as being a senior pastor, what I do, I married a couple years ago that was moving into the blended family.
Okay.
And the first thing I told them, I will counsel you, but the caveat is that I got to counsel your children.
Yes, sir.
Because you guys are in love.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But the kids are like, why are we in this? I really don't like that man. I really don't like that woman. They didn't have a conversation with me. And so what I try to do is to give them a springboard to understand that everybody should be involved.
Yes, sir.
And everybody should understand one of the key things in life, in the blended family, is communication. Amen. Effective communication. Have a practical idea of learning and listening. And so what happens with most blended families, they come into this relationship and thinking because they've been married before. For example, you've been divorced and got remarried, and you think you have this thing cornered. You can never have it cornered because you're dealing with new personalities, new traditions, new philosophies. And so what you need to do is understand is that when you have that mindset, you've already put yourself 30-0. If we use the football analogy, you're already behind in the first half. You're not going to be able to come out of that because what you've done, if you alienated everybody. Let me just say this real quick. The reason why I can talk about this, I first got introduced to a blended family or STEM family when I was 10 years old. My mom got divorced from my biological dad. And because of that, my mom had 6 sons and 1 daughter by the same man, but they split. And so my mom married a stepfather. And so he comes into this family with an iron fist. It's either my way or the highway, and that's what we do today. If you are a bonus dad coming in and you think that the biological mom or the mom is not running the kids or teaching the kids this, you come in and say, you know what you're going to say? Well, you're not doing it right. You need to do it my way. And I tell people, everybody come from a different philosophy of parenting.
Yeah, that's right.
So what I try to tell people, if you have a different philosophy, let's sit down and talk about it. Let's get a piece of paper and write down what we were taught. Because sometimes when I grew up, in the late 60s and 70s, my parents did not play. And they handled us. But the thing about it, when this stepfather came in, he began to whip us without having a communication, and we didn't know what we were doing. And so that's what we have now in the 21st century.
So let me ask you that. Even as you talk about the bonus dad coming into a situation, how should what teaching, what type of understanding should that bonus dad have?
Well, first of all, I told this bonus, great question. I told the bonus dad when I said, here's your job. Let me give you your job description. This is your job description. You come into this woman, first of all, get to know the woman, get to know her children. Now, the mom plays a role in depositing in this new man the characteristics and the tendencies of her biological children. Because we can't assume as bonus dad that we know everything about somebody else's child. But the bonus dad, what I tell them, here's your role. You're coming in as a coach, a mentor, and you're not doing a lot of talking the first couple of years, because statistics say it not only takes 3 to 6 years for a blended family to mesh. So, in actuality, bonus dad, you need to have patience. And I struggle with the bonus dad label, because a bonus means an asset. You may be coming and you're not a bonus. But we're in the 21st century, so we want to make things light on people. You know, and I'm honest. I'm keeping it 100. 100. You know, you're not an asset, but to help that person be an asset, the mother has to help coach him and teach him that this is my daughter, this is my son. They have different tendencies. And so I come in as a coach. I come in lighthearted and understand I come in as a student. Because if you're coming into a ready-made family, you cannot be the professor. You have to be the student. And I know grown folks don't like to hear that word when they come in a relationship, but I tell them, because here's the key.
That's good.
Your job, not only being a coach, setting a different identity, and I tell bonus dads, you're not going to replace that biological dad, and that should not be your mindset. Your mindset, you should be the supplemental coach.
That's right.
That can teach them how to win, because maybe their dad's not there. Teach them how to talk to their mom, but do it with gentleness and humility. And I know that messes up a lot of our egotistical mindset, but I always tell them, if you're going to win them new kids, you got to love them to the kingdom first.
That's right.
And you got to love their mom, and they got to see it in action. So this is your position. And I tell you as a bonus dad, if you take patience and allow it to grow, you can transform these kids, because it takes a little time and a little time. Yes.
Wow. Now, understand the practical advice that you just gave.
Yes.
And yes, I want to be successful in that, coming into the blended family.
Yes.
But I'm coming out the locker room 30 points behind.
Okay.
I'm coming out after halftime. I'm coming back, and now how do I set that? What you just shared with us, how to come in and be a student and with the pressure of being behind.
Okay. Well, here's the first thing I tell you is that if you're marrying this woman with these kids, you need to get premarital counseling and be a part of the kids getting premarital counseling.
Absolutely.
So you can understand where their minds is. All blended families start from a loss. There's a grieving process.
Yes, sir.
That we don't take control of. So if we're coming down 30 points down, we readjust our mentality.
Yes, sir.
We readjust to recognize that these are children that are broken, that they're hurt. And what I need to do is to lift them up.
Yes, sir.
I need to put myself on the back burner and become a servant. And if I serve these kids, even though I'm 30 down, the second half still have 30 minutes.
Yes, sir.
You can change it by your attitude and your mentality. And let me say this, be transparent with these new kids that I blew it. The first 30 minutes of the game, the first 30 minutes of the first 2 years, I messed up because I thought I knew what I was going on. When kids see that adults are transparent, especially a bonus dad, they say, wow, okay, Mr. So-and-so is sincere. So let me take off my gloves. Because what you do, you create a win-win situation when adults are transparent and say, you know what, I was wrong. I messed up. I came in with this attitude and this mentality, because really this all I knew. This ain't my first relationship. This ain't my first group of kids. And so I need help. And another thing to help them get out of that 30-point deficit, you call some brothers that you know that may have been there and have a conversation with them. And if that don't do it, then get in a group and go to a conference and how to be a bonus dad to bonus and biological kids, because these steps can take place.
Yeah. Well, we see with 1,300 new step families forming every day. Go ahead.
Well, one thing I want to say, and I appreciate your comment of saying, hey, one, you got to have a mind shift.
Yes.
And that's very important. And part of that mind shift, and something I have observed in talking with certain brothers, is that when they've come into these situations, in dating or even in marriage, and they have the right intention, they say, well, it's my objective to treat them like they're my own. I want to love the kid. I'm marrying the family. I'm all in. But as soon as they feel like the child rejects them, they give up. They quit. And all of a sudden now, they don't continue to develop that relationship with the child. Now all of a sudden it's like, well, they don't want me, so I'm going to just do my own thing. And I've seen that, and that's giving up. That's not having the patience that you were referring to.
Would you think that's part of the grieving of the child because of the loss?
Well, it's definitely, Doc, you're right there. It's part of the grieving, and I think as adult men, we should not wear our feelings on our fingertips, because we're coming into a new environment. And that's why I think, and I say this a lot, my wife and I say this a lot, you're going into the blended family. I'm going to tell you, before you marry, you need probably 24 months to develop a relationship and understand the platform and the scenario you're getting into. Because, listen, it's not going to work until you're willing to change or willing to transform yourself to be a part of the package deal. See, here's the problem. We come in there with a singular mentality. I may have good intentions, but good intentions without the right motive creates an environment of toxicity. And so I often tell brothers, spend some time on yourself, because a lot of times let's keep it honest, we go from relationships to relationship, and we find a mother that that has children. We automatically come in with this kind of negative, I'm not going to be that child's father. Where's his father? But see, that mindset comes, and let me say this, because I'm talking to two men of God. You have to allow God to come in and cause a shift in your mind to recognize, are you in this thing just for the honeymoon? Are you in this thing to be a champion, no pun intended, of creating champions? Because I think, and y'all know this, the man, whether he's the bonus or the biological father, is responsible for identity. Sometimes the kid's identity need to be reshifted because they're grieving, because the dad left and they don't know. And some kids think, sometimes they reject you and they don't get close to you because they think you're going to leave. Because if daddy left, they think you're going to leave. So they're guarding their feelings. They're in a new environment. They want to trust you.
And I'm not connected to them.
So you may leave. And so I think the school, the education process in the blended family has to continue. When I wrote my book, Blending to Making Ingredients for a Successful Blended Family, I'm keeping it 100, because I'm my mother's child. My mom, God rest her soul, was a caretaker. That same spirit to caretake hit me. Out of all her sons, and I'm not saying my other brothers weren't caretakers, but I had it. And so I ended up getting involved with a young lady when I was in my 20s. I mean, I'm talking about, I'm greener than money. I'm greener than money. Because she had 2 children from a previous relationship. And so we get connected. I have no children from nowhere. Basically, I'm out of college. And I'm when I tell you, the grass ain't had nothing on me. When it comes to trying to raise, I'm coming in, she has 2 children. And the father is alive, but the father is unfortunately not connected to them. And so I come in here and I want to love and I want to help. I want to teach. And getting rejected was kind of like a weekly thing for me. But I didn't give up, because I knew that God was saying, you can plant some seeds to help these kids understand how valuable you are, even though you weren't their biological dad. And so, unfortunately, because I was young and because I didn't know what I was doing, the pressures of trying to meet expectations caused that particular person, we got married, but we ended up getting a divorce. Now, I didn't get married to get a divorce. It wasn't because of the kids. It was because I was not ready to go to the next level, and I wasn't given the opportunity to take them, because honestly, even when I was a kid, I was a dreamer and I had vision. If I see you need some help, I'm going to try to help you. But when you got 20 people telling you that young guy don't know what he's talking about, and so the outlaws of the biological outlaws. They was pouring things into these kids, great kids. But once you pour so much into kids that's grieving, they gonna suck it all up, and you become the bad guy.
Yes.
So I became the bad guy. Didn't even know I was the bad guy by trying to do the right things.
Wow.
And so you have different scenarios. The blended family has different layers for men.
Yes.
But when I got through that divorce, it was very difficult because I was preaching the gospel. I was a pastor. And so that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother show. But I'm going to do all of it, man.
But it always seems like when we deal with, as we've dealt with it last week, it kind of took a left as we dealt with the man. Because again, until the man really deal with the heart, his heart, he's not really ready to deal with.
Yes. Doc, let me tell you something. Once I went through that process, I never not loved those bonus kids. But I knew that, and they were older when their mother and I separated. But what I realized, that God was teaching me something to be one of his instruments for the blended family. And when I went through that process and God healed me, and I went through the counseling process and all of this stuff I need, because see, one thing about me, I knew I wasn't going to let the devil win.
That's right.
He knocked me out. Now I took a shot.
Yes, sir. Yes,
but
sir.
I knew.
Yes, sir.
That if God get me back up and let him do what he needs to do, and lo and behold, after 5 years of being single, I run into my wife, and guess what? I'm in a blended family again because she had a son from a previous marriage.
Yes,
and I said, hallelujah. Because God is a God of second, third, and chances. And right now, we've had this relationship for 15 plus years with my, I don't even call him my bonus son, I call him my son.
That's right.
His dad is like, I told him, I said, I'm not replacing your dad. My goal is to be your coach. My goal is to be your mentor.
Yes, sir.
My goal is to love you to the kingdom. And my goal is to show you how to do it to the very best of my ability by seeing it in me to love your mom and to bring you to your greatness. And I see him being to the greatness now. Now, what I didn't say in that previous relationship, my first marriage, we had 2 kids together.
Okay.
So at 25, I had 4 children. And man, it was a whirlwind. But I had a caretaker spirit. And even now, when I go and talk to people about blended family, I say, we give up too quick. Because we expect kids that have been broken and destituted to not reject us. They're hurting. You're hurting. But you got to be able to allow God to flip the script mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And once God flipped the script, and let me tell you something, men, you can be the best bonus dad that God, because guess what? Whenever there's a void, God always sends something to fill that void.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes we don't realize God is sending us to fill that void. And so God taught me, he said, you go fill voids.
Yes.
And I speak hope. In my book, I talk about 3 practical principles. I talked about 3 principles: practical, therapeutic, and spiritual. And I tell people all the time, you can be brilliant, but if you don't have the spiritual connection in the blended family, because God is the glue. My wife said God is the glue. And kids are running around, and kids just want you to really be their dad. They always ask me, they said, Doc, well, should my bonus kid call me dad? Or what? I said, well, take your time. Don't put no labels on it.
Yes, right. Yeah.
You know, let them develop the relationship with you.
Well, here, successful families, successful blended families, the biological parent handles discipline initially. Biological parent should require respect, and the same respect the child will give any other to any other adult. You don't force the love. You expect conflict. Extend grace. Communicate. Seek family counseling. Give understanding to the children and listen to the children's concerns. Those are some of the characteristics of a successful blended family that you kind of just put all together for us.
Yeah. And
so, okay, which book is?
This book is entitled "Blending to Make It: Ingredients for a Successful Blended Family." I wrote this book as a testimony for people to have a GPS system to make it through their blended family. And we talk about God, we talk about therapeutic. I'm a licensed Christian counselor, and I tell people that be real, be honest, understand the value that you can bring. See, once we understand what we're bringing to the table, gentlemen,
yes, sir. Yes,
we can flip the script.
Yes,
and
sir.
so this book teaches you blending to make it ingredients.
Yes,
See,
sir.
ingredients, and the part about this book is that it's like a blender. I like smoothies. So everything you put in a smoothie, maybe apples or oranges or strawberries or mangoes, that's your blended family. But if you put it in the blender all together and you put it on low speed and let it blend slowly.
Yes, sir.
And
yes,
I guarantee you, when that drink come out, like your family, let your family blend slowly. Don't be in a hurry to make adjustments too quickly. Let it blend slowly.
Amen. Let it go. Let me see that. Okay, I have a question, a comment.
Sister Tony Session. Love the idea of adding children to premarital counseling. This is a transition period for the children as well, and they need to heal as well. From Elder Agee, love the verbiage, bonus dad instead of stepfather, and bonus kids instead of children.
Amen. Amen. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
And of course, you're getting your shout outs.
Okay.
What's blood? This is from Michelle Johnson Mangum.
Yes.
What's
my
blood? Right, your wife. What's blood got to do with the blended family? Absolutely nothing.
Amen. She told us to handle you with care too.
Okay.
She said handle you with care. So we're taking care of them, sis. We're taking care of them. Good care.
Without a doubt, these guys are everybody. Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just saying, man, I'm just glad that you're here. But and it's funny because when I think of blended family and like you say, it's this whole thing of retooling ourselves and rethinking ourselves. Sometimes we limit ourselves into the fact of the blended family being that formal marriage of a family. But if we actually go back and look into the heritage in which we come out of, and we believe that it takes a village to raise a child, then actually we already have in place a tradition of blended family, and it's our lack of wanting to accept the tradition. So sometimes we just got to get back to the basics of understanding that we are, again, our brother's keepers. We're all family. My sister's cousin's brother is my cousin. And those are the types of things that once we start shifting into that type of mentality, it allows us also to accept children that are not ours.
Yeah, in the back of my book, don't forget your point out, I talk about rebirthing factors. And one of the factors I talk about, the rebirthing of acceptance, the rebirthing of respect, the rebirthing of compassion and care. Because what happens is that a lot of these emotional tenets are lost in a divorce, in a death, in an adoption, that you never knew who your biological parents are. Wow. So it has to be rebirthed to come back alive. So that the kids and the parents can understand that we may have lost these things, but God want to rebirth and regenerate some things back in us so that our family can be successful. And we're going to be successful, without a doubt.
Chapter 4, the rise and fall of the family structure. Just touch on that for a minute, brother.
Well, that talks about what happens when, I think in the 50s, when the women were able to go to work, and they were normally at home, and they wanted to make money, and they wanted to do this and that, and then there was no structure. And whenever there's no unity, wherever there's no structure, there's always chaos and division. And so the family was on the rise when we took care of the family, not just financially, but emotionally. I was raised by the village. The village kept me going. So when I think about the rise and fall, I think about divorce. I think about when we stop caring enough, or we start chasing things to make us like, I hate to say that word, the Jones ought not hate. We try to keep up with some things we shouldn't keep up with. And sometimes we chase things that we shouldn't chase. And so remember, whenever you leave something and don't take care of it before you leave, it's ultimately going to fall. Whenever you take the screws out of a building, you're building a building, you start taking out the screws, you start taking out things that hold the building up, it's going to fall.
Yeah, that's right.
So when the dad's not home no longer, the mom's not home, the kids don't want to be.
Yeah.
It's fallen. The family structure has fallen. And I say this just to add to that, in every sector in America, the family has to be number one. In the church, in the workplace, in the business place, because in the school, when the family has been fallen, It affects everything. It's such a domino effect.
Absolutely. And as you say that, whatever we don't manage, we lose.
Exactly.
Whatever we don't manage. But even when you get to the rise and the fall of that family, that the structure of the family, there's some rejection.
Yes.
And we don't deal with the rejection. Even as men, we don't deal with rejection.
And we don't deal with rejection well because we were never taught how to deal with rejection because our parents were rejected because maybe how they looked, maybe where they lived. And we didn't allow rejection to be taken out through love. I tell you, if you love enough and you build enough, and if you care enough, and most of the time we can see rejection coming because most people that reject are rejected. And they play a role in rejecting others because we don't want to be hurt anymore. Most people are rejected. They don't hurt no more. They want to stop the bleeding.
You can stop right there past the plate. Go ahead, brother.
I was just going to say this. I'm sorry. I wanted to go back to what you were just saying, Doc, a moment ago about the family structure and how, but what's concerning is that as we make the shift in life and the family structure has changed, that some people don't even come from the foundation of what that family structure where mom and dad and children even so because they've never had it.
Exactly.
They can't when it's their turn to begin to build and develop those relationships, they don't even have an experience to turn to. So you talk about that first floor and pulling the pieces out and taking something away from. When you get to the second story, it's less stable than the first story. Because the first story is going to stand longer than the second story. And as we keep building generations and more stories that are getting away from that foundation of what the family's like, man, we're coming up with a real problem in our society.
And I think you're on point, Dr. Champion. But one of the things I always tell people this. We can set ourselves up with making excuses. Because what I do know, in every city, there's a faith-believing church on every city.
Amen.
And one thing I learned about the church, there's going to always be a family in that church.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That will reach out to you. And yes, we've let people down because we did not teach them. And let's get real with it for a minute. The whole strategy of the devil is to tear the family down.
Right.
And it didn't come from America. It came from a place that we all were not in the same room looking like one another. And so they planted that seed of division and obstruction of what the family should be. And I tell people this all the time. I love the church. I love the Bible. But the first entity in the Bible was the family. The church was not the first entity. And like you said, we have a right, though. We have a right, and that there's a lot of obstructions. There's a lot of different, things going on. But we, as servants of God and men of God and fathers, we need to get mad with the devil and say, not on my shift. Yeah, I'm missing some stuff, so let me go visit Doc Green's church. Let me go visit with you. Let me sit down and talk to you. If I'm a young person, stop talking to people that don't have a clue how to generate a family. Stop talking to people because they have 6 and 7 figures. Find some brothers out that have an example in the lifestyle that's doing it.
That's right.
And talk to them. You ain't got to listen to everything, but get the nuggets. And then go teach one, and then you go reach one, or reach one, then you teach one. See, we make excuses. As brothers, we make excuses. That Brother's Keeper is the longest running show. If people tune in to listen to you, gentlemen, there's so much nuggets coming out of you and so much nuggets coming out of your show and the guests. Guess what? We should be millionaires in our families.
Amen.
I'm not talking monetarily. I'm talking about the richness that we have. That's why I do with the blended family, because I tell people, the blended family is rising up.
Yes, sir.
The first blended family was in Genesis 16. When Abram slept with the handmaiden and Ishmael came. That's the first blended family in the Bible.
Man, good God Almighty. Go ahead, Doc. Keep going, man.
and so my whole thing for me is that we can't keep running away because we have challenges. See, this world has taught us as people of color that when we run into a brick wall, we reject ourselves, we reject others, and we run away. But see, I was taught, if you're on the football field, if Doc hit me with a hit, good hit, bro. I'm not going home. because I got a hit coming. I'm gonna hit somebody.
Amen.
You know, and all I'm saying to you,
yes, sir.
Hit somebody for your family. Hit the devil. Listen, the wife and I having trouble. But we gonna go to the bishop's church. We gonna get some counsel. If we're a blended family, call Dr. up. I'm gonna love you to the king. I'm gonna tell you what's right. Stop giving up so quickly. And then we're allowing tools of the media to strip us from our greatness. Our family don't have to be like that.
Go ahead.
My family not going. I know I messed up. I know my mom didn't have a good relationship with my stepdad. They got a divorce. Well, he died. But what I'm saying to you, she didn't have a good relationship with my biological dad. He didn't take care of his kids. But I made a decision, not just because of him, but because what God planted in me. I don't have to be like the next Joe Blow that don't do nothing.
Yes, sir.
And stop making excuses. We make excuses for what we don't have, and we make excuses for what we don't have in our community.
Yes, sir.
It's so much richness in our communities.
Yes, sir.
And I tell young people all the time, you talk to somebody that's done something, that got a history track record of mess ups and miracles and ministry. And see what they're doing now. I'm listening to you guys. I see you guys. I would not go talk to nobody that ain't done nothing.
Amen.
And if they haven't done nothing, I want to know why you haven't done it. Well, I don't have nobody say, no, you're looking in the wrong place. Find the right place.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so I tell people, I tell couples, you can cause a shift in your family's legacy, blended or not.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If you step into it.
Amen.
Step into the ring and say, as for me and my house, like Josh said, we're going to serve the Lord. If it seemed evil to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I told her bonus day, I said, listen, Doc, you love the Lord, right? Those kids not your kids. I said, do me a favor. Get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and call those kids' names out before the Lord.
Oh, God.
And say, God, they not my biological kids, but they are my kids that you gave me. God, begin to speak to their minds and their hearts and let them know I love them with agape love. And then when they don't even know, put some oil on your hand and shake hands and anoint them. See, we got so many strategies that God has given us, and we don't use it.
Yes, sir. Amen. Yes, sir.
My wife and I, we have a phenomenal blended family. Phenomenal. Not because of the book, the Bible. And because I ain't going to, listen, I tell people all the time.
Yes, sir.
The devil not robbing my family.
Yes.
No more. You stole and steal. But you giving back, George, so you going to give me some stuff back. You going to give me my family. Double. You going to give my family, my non-biological kids, you going to give them back to me.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Blending to make it work. Ingredients for a successful blended family, ladies and gentlemen. Where can we get this book, brother?
You can go on Amazon. We're working with them. It's on the Kindle now. Just reach out to that on any Nook. We're working now to put that back in hard copy. Or you can email me at drblend1@gmail.com.
We're gonna put that on the thread. Okay.
And you can, and I can send it to you.
Okay.
I've sent it to people because I got plenty at home. We're working with Amazon now because they made up a fool. They messed up.
Yeah.
And they getting it straight.
Okay.
Because I'm on them.
Yes.
This is God's ministry, not mine.
Come on, Doc.
And so. Also, I didn't say this.
Yes, sir.
We wrote a book, and I believe this is for every person, but every man, every father. It's from the incubator to the kingdom. The story of a young man's journey to fulfill his God-given purpose. This is like my memoir. I'm a twin. So when I was born in Freeman's Hospital. I'm aging myself, but I love to age myself. To help me, I'm going somewhere. Amen. I ain't done yet.
Yeah, that's right.
So I was born in Freeman's Hospital. My twin brother and I, Wayne, I'm Dwayne. I was born in Freeman's house. Because I was so small, they kept me in the incubator 30 days longer than my brother. I was 3 pounds and 2 ounces. He was 3 pounds and 4 ounces. But I think he got all the food because I was skinny. And so, but what this book does, it's an inspirational book. It takes you from my journey from being in an incubator to the kingdom. I give you practical, because when you first get saved in God, you in God's incubator.
Yes, sir.
You got to go through the process before you get to the kingdom.
Amen.
You 5 years old, you ain't coming out doing everything that these gentlemen have done, because guess what? They had to go through the journey.
Okay. So from the incubator to the kingdom and blending to make it work, you can get both of these.
Amazon. You can get this on Amazon in any form.
Okay.
We're working on now doing an audio.
Okay.
But I tell people that when God gave me this book, He wanted me to inspire young men to never give up.
Amen.
Despite
Amen.
the travesties and the challenge, because I never gave up.
Yes, sir.
Despite having blood poisoning at 6 years old, I'm supposed to be dead right now. But oh, the grace of God.
Amen.
So Wayne is walking around. You got Wayne and Dwayne.
Wayne walking around.
So you got another one of you running around.
Another one of me running around. Look it.
That's all right, my brother. We definitely want to. Actually, we can turn around and we can make one of these the August book of the month, Sister Beverly. We're gonna make this a.
You take that with you, man. That's yours.
Amen. Well, we praise the Lord.
That's yours.
Well, we can make the other one September book of the month too.
Man, listen.
We can make it September book of the month. So yeah,
well, we gonna have to get you this out because he brought one. My wife said, "Honey, I forgot to get the rest of them because I had to get out that traffic because I wanted to get here."
Amen. Praise God.
No, bless
but
God.
Definitely, we're gonna make this the blending to make it work. We're gonna to make it. Blending to make it, and we're going to make this our August book of the month, and we're going to promote this, man. Definitely, thank you for coming out, man. Definitely powerful, just powerful, and a continuation with what Presiding Elder Kevin Agee was teaching, sharing, and we're just combining and consolidating, man. So next week we're going to turn around and we're going to have Elder Agee in next week as well. If you have it in your calendar, your schedule, you can also stop through and
I think I'm gonna ask my wife to see what's on the calendar, man. I would love to meet.
We can
I would love to meet that brother, man.
Amen. Amen.
I come and get a seat though. See, I'm
gonna sit out there next week, so y'all there'll be enough room here for all y'all.
But you know, it's amazing because don't this brother sound like someone on the silver screen? If you listen, man, he sounds like Denzel Washington. You listen to.
Well, you know what? Somebody said that to me when I was on the phone.
They did.
Yeah, they said, man,
is this Denzel?
I said, no, I'm not Denzel, man. See, I ain't one of them ones that gonna tell a lie. No, I'm not Denzel. Because see, when you say you Denzel, they gonna say where you live at.
Amen. I want to ask you to give just a minute of encouragement to that son that is in a blended family and has lost hope. That daughter in a blended family that has lost hope. That bonus dad that don't have direction. Speak to them and their heart. And that mother who is in that situation to help build and bridge it. Speak to the family.
Families, let me tell you something. You're not in a blended family by accident. You've really been positioned to do something phenomenal. And I know it's difficult. I know you don't understand what's going on. I want to offer this to know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And God don't make no junk. He don't make mistakes. Dad, guess what? It may seem rough, but if you touch base with God. Mom, it may seem difficult, but if you touch base with God. Children, recognize that, listen, Rome was not built in a day, but there's so much effervescent greatness in your body, in your mind, that you're going to rise up right now. I tell you, get together and have a love shop. Come together once a week in prayer and have some games. And learn to love each other like Christ has commissioned you to love one another. And I guarantee you that when you do that, the Spirit of God will cause a change and cause a cataclysmic atmosphere to bust in your heart. Take your time, be patient, and recognize that you were born for greatness in your blended family, because a blended family is not leaving. It's going to be the #1 family that will change even the intact and nuclear family. We love you. You can reach me on Facebook, Twitter, anywhere. Dr. D Mangum on Facebook, Blending to Make It on Instagram. You can I Blend on Twitter. Dr. Dwayne Mangum on LinkedIn. If you just put in Dr. Dwayne Mangum, you will find me. You will find my book. My show every Wednesday. My wife and I, Team Mangum, straight talk about the blended family on the WBGR Health and Wellness Network. Y'all need to tune in because we're talking about things that will cause you to go from just existing to excelling.
Ladies and gentlemen, our time is up, and we definitely thank you for yours. And remember, you can catch the rebroadcast of this show on YouTube about 1 hour after the premiere. Remember, when good men stand together, we become greater. I am my brother's keeper, and see you on the other side of greatness. God bless you. Thank you for watching. Have a winning week.
My brothers keep a show. I gotta let them know. Tuesday, 7 p.m. Gotta let them know. 3 M's mental model. Gotta multiply. God gets all the glory. Hands in the sky. My brothers keep a show. I gotta let them know. Tuesday, 7 p.m. Gotta let them know. 3 M's mental model. Gotta multiply. God gets all the glory. Hands in the sky. My brothers keep a show. Introduce the host.